You were asked on April 17th whether any of the personnel reductions had included personnel responsible for food safety or infant formula safety. You said, quote, there were no cuts to scientists or reviewers or inspectors, absolutely none. You were asked on April 23rd on CNN and said, quote, again, there were no cuts to scientists or inspectors. But then just 2 days later, an HHS spokesperson confirmed that, in fact, scientists had been fired and that you were scrambling to rehire them. Is that, did you in fact say on April 23rd there were no cuts to scientists or inspectors? Just before we get into the details, is that an accurate quote?
No scientific reviewer was cut as a part of the reduction in force.
But you said there were no cuts to scientists or inspectors. Didn't you say that?
My understanding was that there were no cuts to the scientific staff, but specifically the scientific reviewers is what I was referring to.
But you said there were,
Jim Jones,
it's a very straightforward question. You said there were no cuts to scientists or inspectors, correct?
Scientific reviewers is what I was referring to. That's the vast majority of scientists there. Jim Jones is an economist.
5 days before, you had said there were no cuts to scientists. You said that, right?
I was referring to scientific reviewers. There are
But scientists had been fired, correct?
There have been research scientists in some labs that have been doing some research. Some of that research is good, some of it is not good, and so there have been no cuts to scientific reviewers.
And in fact, scientists who study the safety of infant formula had been fired, correct?
I'm not aware of any scientist who studies infant formula that has.
Here's the reporting in the New York Times, which says the HHS spokesman said those employees called back had been inadvertently fired, and the decision to rehire specialists on outbreaks of food-related illnesses and those who study the safety of products like infant formula. So is this reporting accurate? Had, in fact, scientists who study outbreaks of food-related illnesses and the safety of infant formula been fired?
The reason it's not accurate, Senator, is that people were not fired. They were scheduled for the reduction in force. And that was before I got there. When I got there, we did an assessment. And so some of those individuals out of the 19,000 were restored. Jim Jones was an economist, and he was upset about the DOGE cuts, so he self-doged. He was not fired. I wish he would have stayed.
Have all scientists responsible for food safety and infant formula safety been rehired or reinstated?
Look, we have not reduced in force the scientific review staff. I know where you're going with this. We're not allowed.
I'm trying to get clarity on your statements.
Person.
You said there were no cuts to scientists, and then the HHS spokesperson said, actually, there were cuts to scientists, and now we're trying to rehire them. I mean, so it gives the impression you're not sure about the personnel actions ongoing in your own agency, and that's
again, no one was
from your
cut.
testimony today.
No one was cut in the reduction of force. They were scheduled for the reduction in the future. Down the road, it has not happened yet. So the people scheduled to be cut, we did a review and found some research scientists. When I made those statements, it was very specific. I was very clear. We're talking about scientific reviewers because the trains have to run on time. And if you're concerned about
my time is up. My time is up.
Labs,
but you were very specific. You said there were no cuts to scientists.